I was trying to think of ways on how I can mount the monitor onto this machine, and I ran into a few problems, mainly because of the way that the linear carriages slide across the rail. I'd like to attach the monitor to the side of the machine, and I figured the best place would be one of the back corners. So I'm going to go ahead and create a mount that's going to attach somewhere across this back side. I don't know which side yet, but it's going to hang off the machine and up in the air, so that the monitor, when it's hanging there, is going to be above this, and I'll be able to pull it forward or throw it out of the way, whatever I need to do. So let me show you what I've come up with. So what I decided to use to create the upright was just a solid piece of wood. In this case I'm using poplar, although you could make this out of plywood or 2x4 or whatever. This is just going to be a little bit more rugged, and this stuff's cheap. So anyways, the size of this is about 3 inches by 2 inches, and about 30 inches long. And what I did was, after it was all squared and trued, I just sliced it right down here and basically made a cap with the table saw. And as you can see, as that pulls off, there's a channel that's cut down inside. This is where the wiring is going to run, the power cable and the RGB cable for the monitor. I'll be able to run that all the way up to the top where the mount is going to mount on this, and then this will be all attached with 4 cap screws that are going to be countersink nicely in there. So that's the beginning of what I'm doing here. The mount is actually going to attach right here in the middle at the very top, and it will not interfere with the channel because you see how it's offset off the center. So let's see where this goes. Alright, after looking at all the points where this would make the most sense without restricting the gantry from moving along, I decided to go ahead and mount it on the front. This allows me to pull out the monitor and use it across the shop when I'm just surfing the web or whatever, and turn the monitor so I can view it from either direction of the machine, depending on where I've got the keyboard and mouse at the time. The way that this is mounted, it does not restrict anything, and in fact it actually acts as a hard stop for the x-axis. So I kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone on that side over there. Next thing I got to do now is, this is the chase for where the wires are going to run through. I just wanted to wait till I had it installed to see, but my wires are going to come up through the bottom here, so I'm going to just fold it flat against this, and wherever would be a good spot to kick the wires out to go up into there, I'm just going to take a Forstner bit and go ahead and drill this till it's flush with that, and clean it up with a chisel. That way I'll have a nice opening in there for the wires to go through, and then I'm going to run the wires down into there, into the computer. Just so you understand this step, I wasn't sure if I was clear. All I did was I took a Forstner bit and put it in here and drilled it till I was flush with the bottom of the previously cut dado for the chase for the wires. All I'm going to do now is come back with a chisel and clean it up so it's a nice square edge. And if you want, you can fill that little hole. You're probably not going to see it once the wires are in there anyways, but just pick the biggest Forstner bit that's required to allow the wires to float in there nice and easy. And it's a real easy way to make a flat bottom real quick without having to bust out the chisels in a saw. As you can see, I went ahead and used the chisel not only to clean up the edge, but I went ahead and rounded the corners as well. And I also threw a bevel on this piece right here to go ahead and make sure that no matter which way that the cables run through here, they're not going to run up against a hard 90-degree edge and wear out over time. So I plan on moving this monitor quite frequently. So I'll go ahead and run the cables, then put on the cap, screw that down and take a look at it, and everything looks good. I'll just need to sand it and paint. So the cap plate is installed. I'll only put 2 screws in because I'll take it apart anyways, but that's it. So came together nicely, and it's going to help conceal the wires and provide a stop for the x-axis. So I might have to get some longer wires so I can run the computer where I want, but all in all, pretty good. Alright, so I'll move on to the next thing now.